thing.
Hey everyone, it's Brian here from Massey's Main Entertainment. Coming back this week as we continue our journey on building these perfect albums. We hit last week, we managed to hit in finally into the 90s. And now we're here at 1991, which I consider maybe the most important year in music since maybe 1977 for how much music industry changed post 1991, the influence that a lot of these artists have. MTV really contributed a lot more to making bands and genres that weren't accessible to the top 40 radio and it made it all accessible to top 40, and the lines became really blurred. So joined by Rich Strickler. I'm going to put a link to his channel down below. And I'm also joined by Doc, our resident guy from the North. He's our hard rock expert, and he always has surprises for us, and he doesn't apologize for it.
I do not.
Thing about Doc. He does not. Guys, real quick, what did you guys think about 91? Because remember, I was going to make this a double album, and I could have easily came up with 24 songs. But what did you guys think?
I would say, yeah, I could have made it. I could have done a double album if we got into it and stuff like that. As we're speaking off camera there, I would have taken songs from a couple of different albums, like a couple songs from each album kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But overall, you're right about 91, and this is really changing in music, and we're going to see diversity here in our picks, and I think that flows all the way through 90s. If you want the truth, I think it'll just be, I'll gravitate towards some things that I liked, some things that are going to catch on. You know, the grunge scene is getting pretty big, pretty fast. So, and I like some of that as well. So that'll be throughout my 90s catalog, I think, as we move forward. But I still think you'll see the softer other side of Doc showing up once in a while too.
Nice. I agree. I could have made it a double album, and that's probably the only year in the 90s I can say that for sure, for me, for my taste. And I tried to represent what was going on stylistically with music. I have a little grunge, a little metal, a little hard rock, a little alternative on one side, and then I have on my other side stuff that I particularly like that doesn't fit into any of those genres. So we'll see.
Nice. I know what I wanted to mention too is we're going to have our Spotify list down below with the playlist here, which will be great playlists. All three of them, I guarantee it, for 91. It's going to be fantastic. I know it. And we're also going to be doing our tandem video. We're going to be filming that tonight as well. So that's going to be over on Rich's channel. So we'll have the top 10 movies from 1991. You know, great year there. I mean, movie categories getting really good. Yeah. Getting some serious stuff to break into the top 10 of these ones now. So I'm looking forward to that. And also check out, if you can, our other videos from 1965 all the way through 1990. We appreciate it. Please like, sub, comment, leave your top 10 lists or your top 12 songs, rather. Really enjoy looking at those lists and seeing everybody's taste in music. I really enjoy that. So I guess tonight the order is I have to kick it off tonight, which is great. 1991. I don't really mind that at all. And Doc, you're going to follow me, and Rich, he's batting clean up on both the music and the movies. So he's all excited about that.
Great night for Rich.
Eh? It's a great night. It is a great night.
Big night.
Yeah. All right. So we'll get started here. You know, coming out the gate here we are on side one, track one. This song that I think that most people would have if they were putting together a list of 1991 songs. I went ahead and went with Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit. I know it seems a little cliche. There was other songs on there that I enjoy as well from Nevermind. As I think side two as a whole is better than side one. But I went with Smells Like Teen Spirit because of the way it changed music. Not just the music video was in and of itself fine, but this whole grunge scene that came out completely just turned music on its side. I can remember as a station manager, this album came out, and 2 weeks later, reps were calling me, telling me to pull hard rock stuff in our rotation off of the shelf because that's not what they were pushing anymore. They were going to be pushing grunge bands and bands that sounded like Nirvana, you know, bands that sounded like, you know, Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains. That's where they were going. And so that just kind of tells you where the music industry was going to take it. Number 2 sidetrack on this side, I've got Metallica's Enter Sandman. And now here's another genre that, metal was, popular genre, but definitely wasn't something you would necessarily hear on, top 40 radio. And then the Black Album comes out, and, it ends up being like 4 singles off of this that break into the top 40. And this was the first track off of it. And a lot of it was, probably on the strength of the music video, Enter Sandman. Just an absolute incredible thumping guitar riff tune that just like it's a great little powerful rock driven song that I really enjoy. Hetfield's lyrics on it are really kind of surreal, and the video is surreal, and I just really enjoy. And this is like one of the few times where I can go, I actually kind of like the drumming by Lars on this. And I don't get to say that.
Got a good thump in it, man.
I'm not a fan of Lars Ulrich by and large, but this is a great track. I wanted to include it. Number 3 for me, I've got from Achtung Baby. I picked Until the End of the World. And I picked that because the film that it was also featured on by Wim Wenders, Until the End of the World, this was such a good movie in my eyes that I also love the song here. And I could have picked a ton of songs from this album. I mean, One, Mysterious Ways. It's a lot of people argue that it's stronger than the Joshua Tree. I don't agree with that, but it's a really strong album. And this is part of that little grouping of strong albums that U2 had in that span from like 1987 until this day. So that's a really great song to have. Love it. Number 4 for me from Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. I've got I Could Have Lied. Again, it's like a lesser known tune. Give It Away was on here, Under the Bridge. It's a very funk driven kind of funk metal type of album all the way through. A little bit of blues texture to it. It's really well produced on this. This is such a big change for the Chili Peppers as far as their production value. And after this album, their production value just keeps going up and up and up. They just really started to really take it serious the times that they were in the studio. I really like this one. It's really kind of an acoustic, smooth type of ballad that you just don't hear from the Chili Peppers, especially early in their career. And I wanted to include it here. Number 5 for me on this side, I've got the collaboration between members from Soundgarden, and then you got Eddie Vedder also a part of it. I've got Temple of the Dog. I've got Hunger Strike. What a great song. I mean, you know what? The lyrics are so ridiculously simple. It's great. But the way the 2 different singers sing the same lyrics, that's what adds all the dimension to the song. And it's just a really cool song that's coming in, right in the middle of the beginning of this grunge thing. And it was really nice that it was a collaboration on top of everything else. I really love the song. The album is so, but the song is really good. And closing out this side, another grunge band, I think, in my opinion, I feel like Pearl Jam's 10 is a better, stronger album overall than Nevermind. And I know I can catch a lot of heat for that. I think, from beginning to end it is. I picked Black off of here. Really good, nice, darkish tune. I think I have some lyrics up here that kind of like jump out at me that I really liked. It's right at the end. It's got a little bit of guitar, and it's got a piano at the bridge too that I really like. But right at the end, he says, I know someday you'll have a beautiful life. I know you'll be a star in somebody else's sky, but why? Why can't it be? Why can't it be mine? I just think, the way he sings it, Eddie Vedder sings it, it's so heartfelt that I absolutely love the song. So that's closing my side 1.
Awesome.
Thumbs up, brother.
Big thumbs up for me.
I like it.
I don't want to give away my list, but I have I have 5 of the 6 artists you gave.
Yeah, it's
different songs, but artists.
Right. Yeah. I kind of
yeah,
figured
we're going to float around certain things, I think, is what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I'm going to say mine, you're going to say yours, and we're just going to say his. That's 91, buddy. That's what I can tell you.
Yeah. Exactly right.
I love it. Now I switched gears here a little bit. I didn't think we were going to hit on any of these on the backs. Maybe Doc and I will have a couple. Maybe we may hit on something, but we may hit on an album or two. Here I picked from the Soul Cages, leading off my side 2 by Sting. It was the first album he made since like in the 80s, since he was his last album with the Police. His father had died, and he found himself having writer's block, and he couldn't really find a way to get back again. And it's really because he finally figured out that he hadn't reconciled the death of his father. So the first song he wrote was "Why Should I Cry for You?" And that's the song that I picked from the Soul Cages. One thing I noticed in the Soul Cages was all the songs were like centered around the ocean or centered around the sea and sailing. Well, his father, I guess, wanted to always be a sailor and never actually got a chance to, live his dream of like being out on the water and everything. And I guess that this was maybe a small dedication to his father. I think it's a really lovely song. Has this it's a type of bagpipe called the Northumbrian bagpipe. It's a little flute type of instrument that they play during the song. It's really nice texture to the song. Number 2, I've got the representation for shoegaze here from My Bloody Valentine's album Loveless. I've got the lead off track, which is Only Shallow. Anybody doesn't know what shoegaze is, it's really kind of a wall of sound guitar type of rock that you really have to have a patient ear for. This album took a lot of listens for me to really kind of latch onto it and say, okay, I kind of get what they're driving at. I got to imagine that they call it shoegaze, that while people were listening to it, if they're walking, I imagine that they just kind of stare at the ground. I don't know. Maybe that, I don't know. I'm just taking a gander guess here. I have no idea. Number 3, I've got from the Tragically Hip Road Apples. I've got On the Verge. Maybe Doc can appreciate that. That's a good rockin' tune. It is my favorite off of there. I had a couple others I could have picked, like Cordelia, Fiddler's Green. Those are all good tracks too. On the Verge, I really like the rock side of it, so I wanted to include another rock song here. Wanted to pick that one. Number 4, I got our boy Lenny Kravitz. Absolute great album from Mama Said. This one's called Always on the Run. Really good funky guitar that he has going back and forth with his other lead guitarist, and also Slash is featured on here playing the solo and the bridge. Just absolutely incredible. I love Lenny's guitar playing. I always liked his style. It's really original. He kind of makes his own sound his own. He doesn't he doesn't look like he borrows from very many other people at all. I like it. I like his signature. Number 5 for me is My Boys, REM. It's probably my second favorite REM song of all time, Losing My Religion. Massive MTV video hit. I won Best MTV Video that year. It was a top. I think it made it into the top 10 for the singles for Billboard charts. Video was directed by Tarsem Singh, who went on to make movies. Maybe one of the movies you guys might know is The Cell with Vincent D'Onofrio and Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, if you could tell, you watch the video for REM, it's very surreal. Then watch The Cell, and then you go, yeah, he likes to make this surreal type of imagery in his movies too. So it was rather cool to kind of research that a little bit. And closing out side 2 for me, I had to have something from hip hop. Kind of bounce this around a little bit. I decided to go with what it's called a diss track, which is Ice Cube when he first left NWA. He wanted to make a song basically like taking a stab at his former bandmates. So he created a song. It's actually featured on the movie Straight Outta Compton. The song's called No Vaseline. And as you can imagine, he goes into what it is that he's doing to you with no Vaseline. And it's great. I love it. I mean, I love the throwdown on it. He basically is just going off on the guys. I think some of the lyrics are, he said, "God damn, I'm glad y'all set it off. Used to be hard, but you're just wet and soft." I mean, that's just love it. I mean, Q brings the rain on his diss track and his rapping. So I wanted to close off with a little bit of hip hop.
Very good, buddy.
Nice job. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. I mean, album wise, yeah, we're like I say, I always do this every time I go after you, Brian. I'm next, buddy. So I'm not going to give it away, but I like your album, buddy. So yeah, there's a few there that really stand out to me. We could have hung out at the same party, buddy. We would have been fine.
Very
There's
solid.
enough rock tunes on this anyway.
Yep. Cool.
All righty, who's up now? Doc?
I think it's me, man.
It's you, dude.
Here we go. 91 side A. First song in. So I thought you could start with a different song inside Nirvana. We can get into that later, but now I lay me down to sleep, buddy. So I've got Enter Sandman coming in to start off mine. So yeah, that's a heavy tune, man. Metallica is a hit and miss with me in some senses, man. This tune rocks. This tune is, you're right. This is a thumping sound, thumping lines. It's really the second Black album, i.e. Spinal Tap, I guess. We'll give those guys a shout.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great tune, man. And it's more of a heavy rock song is what I would call it. It did have the radio play. It still fits radio play. Still sounds great, man. And when you do the dive on it a little bit more deeper, yeah, it's a meaningful song too. And the lyrics are pretty strong from James on this one here. So I think I think that represents 91 too, man. So I'm kind of on the same page as you there, Brian.
Yeah.
I follow that up with Temple of the Dog, Hunger Strike, coming in at number 2, man.
Nice.
Yeah, that Cornell and Eddie Vedder thing combo is pretty special.
It is
man.
really nice.
Yeah. It's got a great guitar riff in it, and there's a great build up even in the guitar itself as it gets there, but that low and that high offset between Eddie Vedder and Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris Cornell, man, that dude can sing. Holy crud. Hunger Strike's a great tune. Yeah. You know how I point to my phone once in a while, buddy? It's there. So I love that song. I also do think Pearl Jam has maybe the grunge album of the year that year myself with 10. To your point, Brian, and if it comes up and stuff like that, there's lots of songs on this album. And Black was the last one I cut before I actually went with Even Flow. So I went with Even Flow. So
all right.
That's my third one in. I would almost say it represents almost the grunge sound, almost perfect. It really does have that sound, and it's once again, these guys are you find musically there's some really catchy stuff that happens here in music, but the background behind it, when you slow things down and you start looking at lyrics for some of these guys were writing pretty powerful lyrics, man, and meaningful stuff as much as it's heavy sound or whatever the flow was at that time. There's a lot of homelessness and self-reflection and stuff like that you see in these lyrics as you go through them. And you're not better than me, and I don't have a leg to stand on to say that I'm better than you anyway. There's all that kind of vibe that you see throughout some of this, and maybe that harks back to the Seattle grunge thing. I don't know, but it seems to be like a little bit of a cinnamon, I guess, between all of those kind of the bands, I guess, is what I would say. I'm going to follow that with number 4 coming in. So Guns N' Roses comes out with 1 and 2. And this is really high on my list, man. Use Your Illusion 2. I'm going with the tune 14 Years. I love this song. This is an Izzy tune. It's Izzy singing the song, until you get to the chorus where it's get Axl involved and stuff like that. This is a bluesy, heavy rock song, man. There's lots of piano in it. There's lots of really good guitar riffs. Izzy sounds great. My kind of tune, man. That's what I can tell you. This is like a rock song from Guns N' Roses. Still pumping them out. I think pretty good tunes. Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Pretty solid albums, man. Lots of good tunes in there. For me. Maybe not for everybody, but you can run through a gamut of, Don't You Cry or November Rain. There's a whole bunch of great songs, or very good songs at one level or another that are there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be my number 4. Look, Van Halen has an album out, eh? Go figure.
Heard that.
Yeah, go figure. For unlawful carnal knowledge. So we won't do the cinnamon there. That actually spells out when you actually get to the words. The opening tune on this song, I love, man. I've got Pound Cake coming in at number 5 for me, man.
Yeah.
It's a different sound almost for Van Halen. Sammy's everything, man. Sammy sounds fantastic, I think, anyway. But the drill sound to start, if you remember the tune and stuff like that, it goes right into it. It's got a heavy little bass, the drums that come in right behind it. Fantastic riff. I don't think there's too much other meaning behind this song outside. It's all sex related. So this is one of those sex and rock and roll songs. Pound Cake fits that bill perfect. Great riffs, great sound. Once again, my kind of music, man. I like this one. I'm going to end my side A with Bad Motorfinger, man. Soundgarden coming in with Outshined as my number 6. This is right up there, man. It's like maybe, one of the best tunes of the year kind of thing to me, man. It's got the power grunge sound until the chorus where it actually almost switches and goes into like a heavy rock sound almost. And it's just the flow of his voice. And yeah, it's a heavy tune. It's a heavy song. It's a grunge song. But once again, it's the meaningful lyrics behind it and stuff like that, and the way Cornell sounds. Outshine's a classic tune, man. And yes, I have that one on my phone too. So that is my side A in 91, boys.
There. I like, well, obviously we hit on 2 there right off the bat there.
Yeah.
Something I like about I didn't have any Guns N' Roses, but the artwork for the album covers are done by a guy, an artist named Kastabi. I studied him when I was in college, but he has an interesting story in that he doesn't paint those paintings. He has his grad students paint them.
Really?
And he openly tells people at his art galleries that he didn't actually do it, and people don't care. They pay the big money anyway.
No way.
Yeah. So, but this lets you know, Kastabi did the album covers for Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, the skull on top and stuff, the bending down. That's very cool covers, man.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But I like everything. I like everything else. It's definitely Doc. The whole side is definitely Doc.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a heavy side. I think it's good. For sure. And I have 3 of the same artists there as well. Maybe 4. 4.
Really? That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Different songs. Some of them.
That's okay. That's okay. I guess if you flip it over, like Brian, mine's going to sound different too.
Yeah.
Side B is going to sound different, man. But we are going to hit on one here again, Brian. So this will be our 3rd hit anyway. Losing My Religion from REM. I'm going to start my side B.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a great tune, man. Nothing to do with religion, but
No.
it's a great song, man. Just a very catchy, easy guitar sound. I don't know what kind of instrument it is. It sounds like a mandolin or something like that. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just simple, easy listening, and it's just him singing it through it, and it's his inflections and his voice and everything else that drives the whole song. He sounds fantastic. You hear me talking about that kind of music, man. That nice, simple, easy listening music is very, very appealing to me, and this is one of the better ones for sure. I'm gonna start my album, man, on my 2nd side. Petty's Learning to Fly. It's gonna come in right behind it.
Now we're talking.
Into the Great Wide Open, eh? So there you go. There's a couple tunes on here I like, but this one really has the it sticks almost with like the Wilbury kind of feel to me, this tune. And
yeah, that's true.
Jeff Lynne has his influence on that. We can hear it, but it's got that countryish kind of flow to it. It's not country in one sense, but it's got that kind of flow to it almost, where it's obviously it's acoustic driven, and it's Americana storytelling from Tom Petty, man, in 1991 with Jeff Lynne behind him. Perfect. That's right in my wheelhouse, man. So that's my number 2 on this side. Man, I really wanted to have. I was torn between 2 songs here off this album. So, and because I love them both, and it came down to a coin flip and how I did placements and stuff. If you want the truth, it's 1A and 1A, I guess. So, but Ozzy's No More Tears or Ozzy's Mama I'm Coming Home. So it's Mama I'm Coming Home is going to come in at number 3 for me.
Yeah.
I love No More Tears. I just can't tell you how much I love that tune. So it's like a top 10er for me for Ozzy, but they both are. Just hey, it's the other side. It's the softer side of Ozzy, right? And it's different than No More Tears if you're going to hear that tune. But it's probably 3 minutes shorter too.
Yeah.
My Mom Coming Home's just a soft storytelling from, you know, I like when they do changes and stuff like that from the old Sabbath thing. So when they have that kind of feel to it, or Ozzy has that kind of feel to it, you can see his influence on it. It sounds great, man. And this is early 90s, man. Ozzy sounds fantastic to me. Recently I saw him and he sounded fantastic then too, if you want the truth. So just my kind of tune, man. My Mom Coming Home. It's exactly what it talks about. I'm coming home from being on the road, man, and he's coming home to see Shard. So this is what it's about. I have the hip coming in right behind it, Brian. You're right. So which song did I go with, man? I went with Little Bones. So you're right. There could have been. I have 5 songs written down, man. So it's just which I was going to fit.
Right.
If I was to go the other way with it, I just didn't want it to be too depressing. If I would have had Fiddler's Green on there, it would have been, you know, I might think that might even be a little better of a song, but it might not fit my album better. But
Right.
I still love Little Bones. But Fiddler's Green, if you want to check out this album from Tragically Hip, to Brian's point, it's our little hidden gem up here in Canada that makes some, on the northern states, made some headway, but I don't know if it made it that far south. Tragically Hip's a great band. And you know, I know Little Bones is classic, man. It gets so sticky in here. Just the way he chords sounds and stuff like that when he starts singing.
I mean, he's only talking about eating chicken wings, man.
Yeah, you're gonna. And who knows?
I mean,
man?
really,
I know he's in New Orleans or something. Yeah. This is what's happening, right? You know, $2.50 for a highball, buddy, and $1.50 a beer. You know, it's all over it. I think it represents almost a lot of what the hip brings to the table when you listen to it. It's catchy, man. They've always got good, catchy tunes, and if this is the kind of music you like, you'll really like this kind of music. That's what I'll tell you. I also have some Lenny Kravitz coming in right behind that too, Brian. So go figure. So I got It Ain't Over Until It's Over coming behind it, man.
Same album, different song.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So this one it's a different vibe for Lenny here. This isn't, you know, coming at you with guitars or anything else. And he's got violins and horns and a very Motownish, almost like late 60s, early 70s vibe to it, you know, and stuff like that, you know. But it's that Motown, bluesy, it's fantastic. It's a great song. It just got something so appealing about it. And it's, talk about an easy listen to a really good song. I'm not expecting this from Lenny, but I love this too. It's a great song.
Good.
You're right. There's a couple off that album there, Brian, that are pretty solid. So as soon as you did yours, I started going that in my head, man. It was on my list too. So it's, I'm going to end my side B. Yeah, it's from Achtung Baby. It's from YouTube, man. But I do have one ending out my 91 album.
Great song, considered by many to be their best.
And it's very high in my catalog too. You know, maybe like a 3-4 kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And look, we talked about it before, man. They got a load of great songs. They sound fantastic. There's a lot of meaning behind this song. Once again, man, to Brian's point, you know, we've had the Joshua, you did the Rattle and Hum, now you're in Docton here, you know. They're pumping out some good stuff here, man. So this is this is peak time for you too, and this is peak music making, if you ask me, man. One's gonna end my album in 91.
That's great. That's another solid side there, Doc. That's really completely you. I mean, if there, oddly enough, if there's an odd man out on that side, it may be REM.
Maybe. I just love that song.
That's more of a folksy,
you
know, mandolin-driven track and not a guitar-driven track, you know?
I love my guitar-driven tracks. You know that, right?
I know.
Everything I've got
is
guitar-driven, really. So.
That's all been settled, right?
But the other side to that would be almost like that REM. I can see them being on a lot of senses the Tragically Hip. A lot of people consider the Tragically Hip the REM of the Canada.
The REM of Canada. That's exactly
right.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a problem putting them in. Maybe the wrong songs, but I still want to represent on both, and I still think they're fantastic songs in my eyes.
You're not gonna get. Yeah, I'm not gonna be mad that you put REM on.
No, my buddy, you can't.
Yeah, I think you have two great sides. I prefer the second side because you got Petty, you got REM, and you got U2. And what can I say? There's 3 bangers.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, Rich.
All right, here we go. I'm going to be repeating some of the stuff you guys already said, but I'm going to come out of the gate on side one here with Nirvana, but I picked "Come as You Are." I like this song. I like the melody of this song. Sort of a welcoming song with bizarre lyrics. Cobain writes interesting melodies, and he's got this almost incomprehensible lyrics sometimes. What they mean is just an example here. "Come doused in mud, soaked in bleach, as I want you to be. No, I don't have a gun," but he makes it work in the melody of the song. You're sort of going with it, just like Teen Spirit. I almost went with Teen Spirit, but I thought one of you guys would, so I wanted to mix it up a bit. This is I think the better grunge album, but although I will have some Pearl Jam in here too. They're both great, and they're both landmark albums coming out the same year. My second track is Enter Sandman, so that's a trifecta.
Right on.
Had to have this. This is just I love the intro to this song too. It just sort of revs you up a little bit, gets you in. The opening track of that album, the Black Album. This thing sold 30 million copies. This album, it was a monster. 30 million.
God.
That's like in Fleetwood Mac Rumors tier right there.
It's in the same
thing. That's a neighborhood, eh?
It is. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's like a headbanger, though. Once you get into it, man, you're really into this song. And I like the lyrics. Doc mentioned the lyrics. It's about nightmares. I'd sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. Exit light, enter night. Take my hand. We're off to Never Never Land, and it rocks. It's a great rock song.
Nice.
My third track is Pearl Jam. I went with Jeremy. It's kind of a cliche tune from the 10 album, but it's an ultimate grunge song for me. Inspired by that newspaper article that Eddie Vedder came across about the high school student who took his own life in front of his classmates. So it made such an impact on Vedder. He wrote a tune around it. Teenage suicide, it's still a big thing today. It was then. And to make a song about it in, a dark kind of mode. And he has that chorus, that repeated chorus, "Jeremy spoke in class today. Jeremy spoke in class today." And it's like, he spoke all right. He flew his head off. I mean, it's crazy stuff, but little dose of reality there. My fourth tune, U2, Octung Baby. I also went with One. It's one of my favorite tracks of theirs, probably top three. Some days it's number one. This is a band that was fractured at the time. You had two of the members who wanted to continue in the same vein with the hit-making pop stuff that they were doing, and the other two guys, namely Edge and Bono, wanted to experiment more and get into some electronic stuff and elevate their sound, and they almost broke up because of it. But this song he wrote galvanized them. It brought them back together as a band. We're one, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other. One. That's what those lyrics are about. It's a great song, and you can apply that to anything in your life, whether it be your marriage or your friendships with people or just any kind of situation. It's a strong song. My fifth track, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I went with Under the Bridge. This is another one of these dark alt rock tunes about loneliness and kicking drug habits. And he says, I don't want to ever feel that way like I did today. It's about hitting rock bottom, dealing with depression and sadness, searching for something to bring you out of it, some positivity. Anthony Kiedis, the lead singer who wrote the lyrics, says he had this wonderful girlfriend, and instead of embracing her love, he was hanging out with the gangsters shooting speedballs underneath the freeway bridge. That's what this song is about. It's just a lot of the stuff's dark in tone, but that's what was going on in 91 with the lyrics and the content and all that stuff. So I wanted to include that song. That's a great album. And I'm going to end my side A with Guns N' Roses, of all people. November Rain. This is an epic track. 8 minutes, 57 seconds in length. It was a number 3 hit off of Use Your Illusion 1. Well arranged. It's got the choir. It's got the string instruments. It's kind of on a big scale. Great guitar solo by Slash. Sort of cinematic kind of thing. They had a great video with it when it came out. And it's totally the opposite of what you think I might like, but I like this song. And I actually bought the album, both those albums, because of this song back in '91. So that's going to end my side.
Nice. Geez, we had like 5 of the same albums, Rich.
Yep. Trifecta. Yep.
Trifecta out of the deal. I knew we would all pick. I felt like we were going to pick 3 different songs from Pearl Jam.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, did you?
I really kind of felt that was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be, the ones that they were for who they were, but there's so many good songs on that album. That I knew that was going to happen. And I did figure that I would be the odd man out on U2.
Oh, you like that movie and you like the song.
I like the movie. I like the song.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A lot. So, and I love the guitar work in it, but one is it, I can see why it would make my top 10 U2 songs of all time too. It's a great song.
Yeah. And I'm happy we hit with Enter Sandman, like the Rich bringing it, man. I like that, man. That's awesome.
I had to do it. It's a big song for that year. I had to be
It's a huge song. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
My side 2 is going to be definitely different. Not as much what was going on, but the stuff that I like and I carry over with maybe artists that weren't as big back then, but I still listen to their stuff later. I'm going to kick it off with John Mellencamp, Love and Happiness. This is off the Whenever We Want It album. This is a rock tune. It's not the usual Heartland Americana that Mellencamp gives you. This is a really and it talks about topical lyrics. We're dropping bombs in the Southern Hemisphere. People are starving that live right here. And they're tearing down walls in the name of peace. And they're killing each other in the Middle East. So he's talking about what was going on at the time. Love and happiness. I've forgotten our names. There's no value left in love and happiness. It's the first album that Mellencamp dropped the cougar from his name, by the way. It's his 11th album. Finally got rid of the cougar, so he just became John Mellencamp at that time. That's his real name. That cougar was a marketing tool that they laid on him early on to certain people. So next tune, I have the number 2 track that Doc had, Learning to Fly, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Wide open. You mentioned everything about it. Jeff Lynne, that sound that he is the producer, and they were doing the Wilburys almost at the same time. And it's a song about new beginnings. You're finding your niche, embracing maybe the good things in life and the ups and downs, learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down, it's the hardest thing.
Oh, there we go.
Timeless music. Was I glitching there?
Just you froze for a second there, but yeah.
Anyway, Learning to Fly, Tom Petty. I had to have that on here, although there's several songs on that album I've considered. Number 3 track is Losing My Religion, another a trifecta here, REM. The mandolin.
Nice.
The Peter Buck plays. It's catchy. It's number 4 hit off the Out of Time album. I always like the way he sings. It's almost like a stream of consciousness coming out. You don't think that he's writing these lyrics. The way his delivery is, it's almost like he's just ad-libbing some of the stuff. It's just clever music, catchy as hell, and I think it's the best song off that album. Number 4 is Van Morrison. This is sort of the spiritual Van Morrison stuff coming on here from Hymns to the Silence. This is Van being Van. The song's called Why Must I Always Explain? And this is his attitude about critics and maybe the public. He doesn't really give a crap what they're requesting of him. And in his lyrics, he says, bared my soul to the crowd, but oh, what the cost. Most of them laughed out loud like nothing's been lost. There were hypocrites and parasites and people that drain. Tell me why must I always explain? He doesn't want to have to explain what his songs mean. He just wants to present them as art and let them stand for what they are. And that's just who he is. My 5th track, this is maybe the surprise of my album, Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes. It's a song called It's Been a Long Time. And this is a song that was written by Steve Van Zandt of the E Street Band. And he performs on here along with Bruce Springsteen and Southside Johnny, a 3-way vocal. And it's a song about reminiscing about friends and the past. And the lyrics go something like this. It's been a long time since we laughed together. It's been a long time since we cried. Raise your glass to the comrades we've lost. My friend, it's been a long, long time. It's a good sing-along, kind of a bar song that these guys all grew up in Jersey. They were friends growing up. They branched off into different bands, and they still have some common ground to deal with. And my last track is kind of a folky album, closer here by John Prine. It's called All the Best, real Americana folk song from the Missing Years album. Simple, honest, from the heart songwriter. His voice matches the material, which I like when a guy's voice, you believe what he's saying. John Prine, to me, could have written a course on songwriting 101. He just knows how to write a song and match up words and get some feeling out of it from the listener. So that's how I'm going to end it. I wish you all the best. I wish you love and happiness. That ties into that Mellencamp song that I wrote, that I had earlier. So that's going to end it.
Yeah, you got back to some of your songwriters there. I know Bob Dylan had nothing but fantastic things to say about John Prine.
John Prine.
He just says his approach to songwriting is how it should be done.
It is. And he gives hope to people that are fledgling out there that you don't have to be some dazzling wordsmith. You just have to talk about things you know and life, and you can make it happen. So he's just good at that. Right.
And also the Van Morrison album, I remember it came out. That was a double album. Hymns to the Silence was a double. It was a double CD, as a matter of fact.
Double
it was
CD.
And it was
Really?
it was his best material that I could remember since the late 70s. I felt like it was. There's a lot of spoken word stuff on there that I thought was really good.
Yep.
I remember it.
Look at that, buddy. You did good. You had the Losing My Religion, which had 2 trifectas.
2 trifectas.
Yeah.
Man.
2.
Yep. And we covered, each song from either Pearl Jam or Guns N' Roses, Metallica, U2. We had all the big heavy hitters in there.
Other than doubles from the albums that we had, the only song I was really close to having, believe it or not, I know you guys are going to laugh, right? I was really close to having Richard Marx's Hazard, because I think that song was so interesting. They had the music video. It had a music video that had like 3 or 4 different endings. Because it was supposed to be like this fictional murder of a girl in a hometown. They thought it was her boyfriend, right? And the story behind even him making the song, he said, "Oh, because I had this lyric in my head, this got to leave this old Nebraska town, and I needed to build a song around it. So I called up the Chamber of Commerce, in Nebraska, and asked them for a 2-syllable town, and they give me a list. He goes, Hazard, it's perfect." I'm like, that's how that stuff happens, though. Sheer chance, right? The sheer chance.
Right.
I was that close. I like the song and the premise.
You must like the song there if you're that close, for sure.
Yeah.
What would you have kicked off, though? That's the problem. What would you have
that's the problem. I didn't feel comfortable kicking anything off.
Yeah, it's that's the only one off of an album outside, right?
Yeah.
Is what you're saying, like it by itself. I mean, you touched on the Guns N' Roses, Rich, and there's a great cover of "Live and Let Die" on that User Illusion too.
Yes.
That's a great cover.
Yeah, and "You Could Be Mine" was off of there too. That was on the T2 soundtrack.
Sure was. "Don't You Cry," "Civil War," "Yesterday." Right. There's lots of songs, man. Between 1 or 2, it doesn't matter which one you pick, I guess. But
that's right.
Yeah.
I had "Roll the Bones" from Rush. Go figure, them doing a little rap in there.
Wow.
That almost made my list, man. Outside that, I'd be getting into like the doubles like you talked about. I really like Fiddler's Green. I also had These Are the Days of Our Lives and Headlong from Queen I was thinking about as well. I like both of those songs. Right. And that's the end of Queen.
Was that from Innuendo or what was that from?
Yeah, Innuendo. Okay. That's the end of Freddie's run right there, right? So he passes away that year.
Right.
Okay, well, that'll do it for 1991. Definitely a strong year, guys. You can see that by most of us hitting at least on the same albums. Those albums are really important. They changed the face of music, and we're still feeling the effects of that in today's music. If you listen to rock music at all, you'll hear whatever was being created back in 91. So be sure to check out our Spotify list. I'll put the links down below to that. Check out our other videos from 1965, 1990. Also go over to Rich's channel and check out our top 10 video movies that came out in 1991, which we'll be recording tonight as well. Rich, thank you for joining us tonight. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Doc, thank you.
You got her.
And everybody take care out there. See you for 92 later on.
Take care. Bye.